Amy with Fashion Talkings here. Today I'm going to transform this big 3XL tall. So I'm going to transform this into a dress. And I'm going to try to stay away from the standard, just cutting off the sleeves and making it more fitted and leaving it alone. I'm going to try to do something different with it. The neckline is in bad shape. The corners of these collars are really worn because I got this at the thrift store. And once again, 99 cents. So I'm going to take the collar off completely, change the neckline to just be open right here. But then these cuffs, these sleeves are so long, but the cuff around the sleeve is big enough that I can actually transform this and put the cuff up here. And then I'm going to make a puff sleeve. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, I removed the neckline. It's not very attractive yet. And I removed the sleeves. Look at the size of those armhole openings. So I think the next step I'm going to have to do is go ahead and let's fit the dress, the silhouette that we want. Let's go ahead and pinch and pin. Turn this inside out first. Turn the shirt inside out. Let's pinch and pin. Let's at least get it to more fitted so that we can decide how we want it to look. Because the neckline I can always tackle last once I get some inspiration as we go. When I took the sleeves off, I decided to go ahead and see how far up I could go and still have the cuffs to fit. Well, when I did that, I folded the sleeve back, and now, I kind of like the looks of this. It kind of looks like it's a double layered sleeve. See, I've got a sleeve inside and then sleeve outside, and all that is the length of the sleeve pulled up. So I'm not going to cut the sleeve short yet because I'm kind of thinking that I can either layer all this up at the shoulder and make an attractive shoulder line. See how just by pleating it like this at the top, that could dress up the sleeve line. So I'm going to play with it. I'm not going to cut the sleeves short. I do know I'm going to be wearing them, 3/4 length. But as far as the rest of the length of the sleeve, that's a lot of material that I can play with. So I'm going to try to be creative, make this dress a little bit different. Like I said, try to think out of the box. So I think I kind of like that look. So the next step, I'm going to go ahead and turn this inside out, get it pinched and pinned so I have my silhouette the way I want it, and then try it on. If it fits, I'll put my basting stitch in, and then we'll work from there. I have my basting stitches in. It looks much better. I actually had to cut off material before I put my basting stitches in because, as you can see, look at how much I'm taking in already, and then add on another. So it got to the point where it was even hard to try it on because there's so much material. So I knew I was safe cutting this much off just to get started, and then I put my basting stitches in. I'm leaving it a little bit looser than normal because this shirt is really thin, and it kind of shows my muffin top back here. So I have to figure out a plan for that. But the dress is thin. So basting stitches are in. I'm going to put my permanent stitch in now, cut off my excess material, and then we'll go ahead and tackle those sleeves. I'm back. I've been playing around with the sleeves a little bit, trying to figure out what I want to do that's different, something that I haven't done before. And what I kind of did is came up with this. It's all this bunching, and it's so easy. Basically, I'll go ahead and take this sleeve off. You can see all the different layers. All I did is measure up my arm, or measure from where my cuff of my shirt's going to be. I measured it up where I want the gathering to be to get the puffs. And yeah, that's what I call them, the puffs. And so what I did is, I'll turn this inside out. On both sleeves in the same spot, I just sewed in one strip of elastic. I measured the elastic around my arm to get the distance, how much elastic I needed, so it was nice and tight. If you don't get it tight enough, it's just going to slide down your arm. So get it nice and tight, not to where it's uncomfortable, but of course, just enough that it's going to stay put. And then I went ahead and sewed it into my sleeve, and that was it. And it holds it up, and then I get all that nice puff, all those little ruffles or whatever you want to call them. I call them puffs. Okay, so now what I'm going to have to do is attach my sleeves into my dress, into the armholes of the dress. And I'm going to go ahead and do that next. First thing I'm going to do is grab my sleeve by the seams, the bottom, and then the top shoulder, knowing where they're at before I put them in. Put my finger on both spots. My sleeve is inside right and my dress is inside out. I'm going to slide it down into the dress. The first thing I'm going to do is pin the side seam to the bottom seam of the sleeve. And I'm going to pin it. Then I take the top, let's look at my top there, the top seam, and I'm going to match it up with my shoulder seam. And then I'm going to pin that as well. Now if you remember, I've shrunken down my armhole. So my sleeves are a lot bigger than my arm. So what I need to do now is I'm going to put little pleats all the way around. I'm going to fold the material, paying attention to which direction I'm folding so I can keep it consistent. So I'm folding the material just a little bit to make a tiny little pleat, and then I'm pinning. And then I'm going to keep going around the circle, and each time I go to pin, I'm just tucking just a little tiny bit of material. I'm folding it just a little bit so it takes up more space of my sleeve so that it'll fit into the smaller armhole. So I'm going to keep pleating. You can't see it, but I'll try to take pictures. So I'll do one more. I take the material, I fold the material a little bit. See, I'm just folding it a little, connecting it to the armhole, and then finger my pin, and then pinning it. So I'm going to do that all the way around, and then my sleeve will fit in there because I've pleated all the way around to take up the excess material from the sleeve being bigger than the armhole. So I'm going to do that all the way around. I'm going to put a straight stitch around it, and then we're coming back and we're going to tackle that neckline. Okay, so what I did is I cut this half first, and then I flipped it over and used that as a pattern to cut the other half. So now both of my sides are mirror images of each other, and they're the same size. Now I'm going to put my binding tape around here, and let's start seeing how it looks. Okay, so I put my bias tape all the way around my neckline. I'm going to go put a single stitch through there to hold it into place. And then what I'm going to do to finish it off, I don't have to rehem the dress because the shirt length is already the length I want it, and I'm running out of time on the video to be able to do something special with the bottoms. Okay, if your shoulders are down too low, which my shoulders are down here, one idea that you can do is the same thing, like I said, that I did to this, is just pinch up the material, keep gathering, just keep gathering it like this, and then take it to your sewing machine and put one single stitch through there. That brings your shoulders up, gives you a little ruffle at the top. So it actually drapes pretty nicely. See all these little curves right here? So just bunch up the material at the shoulder, put a pin in it, take it to your sewing machine, and put one straight stitch across it with thread that matches the shirt so you don't see it. Let's take it to the sewing machine, finish up our stitches, and try it on, and let's see how it looks. But here it is. However you want to wear the sleeves, it's completely up to you. This is just an idea I've been playing with. So this is the finished dress. Very simple. But I hope you like this project, and I'm looking forward to doing more. I'm going to try to get another one in this week. So this is Amy with Fashion Toppings. Until next time.